Put all his soul into a tenor saxophone. He had a way of talking. It was a language all his own. Life story, love and glory. Won't you listen as he plays it for you
now? Here comes Lester Young walking real slow.
He was always dressed immaculately.
Sloping shoulders and that hat.
A pork pie hat. And Prez with his saxophone up in the air.
He was so soulful, my words, so soulful.
Lester Young was just, he was a god. And he was a god.
Prez lives!
Some people say you were born in New Orleans. You're not born in New Orleans. Where were you born?
Should I really tell you?
Why? Oh, tell me.
I could tell you a lie.
You were born in 1909.
I was born in Woodville, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Then my mother took me to New Orleans, and we lived in Algiers, which is a river across from New Orleans. See, like in New Orleans, they have them trucks that go around and advertise for a dance this night. You give them a dance, and they're on these trucks and things, and this excited me, So I'd be the handbill boy. They'd give me some handbills, and I'd be just running till my tongue was hanging out like this. Still, I didn't know my father was a musician, you do?
In New Orleans, it's one of those cities where the music is just so intertwined. It's ingrained in the culture. You have a bunch of kids sitting on a bus clanging out rhythms with pencils on the glass. I mean, that doesn't happen anywhere else. We have all these songs that symbolize New Orleans, St. James Infirmary. There are tunes. They are the embodiment of New Orleans, and I think that it is definitely advantageous to grow up in a culture that has a relationship with music like that. Being a musician back then, for a black guy, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot that black people could do. It just wasn't a lot. You could be your own gangster as long as you knew the rules and told the line. You could be a preacher, or you could be a carpenter, or you could be a waiter, or you could be a porter. You compare those things to, being a musician to most people at that time. Everybody wanted to be a musician.
You better remember, that was a different world. And Prez came out of that era.
I just can't take that bull. You dig? It's all bull. And they want everybody who is a Negro to be Uncle Tom, Uncle Remus, Uncle Sam, and I can't even make it.
Not here, not in France.
Maybe it wouldn't happen to you, you dig? You're not a colored person like I am, you dig? They're going to take advantage of me. But all I can do is tell you what happened.
Prez was like a hipster making his way through this terrible jungle of craziness, being cool enough to avoid the most hideous examples of it, and intelligent enough to see it coming.
And yet, he fell in love with a white woman, and he married a white woman.
For a black man in the South to be in the company in a love relationship with a white woman was a grievous violation of the law.
Paying dues was part of his life, you know. I mean, the crucifixion, if you can think of things in that way.
Racism allowed them to identify you as a slave. And it's something that is always conscious. It's a conscious thing. I mean, how you deal with it depends on whatever kind of intelligence or guile or thick skin or how you react to that.
Through his pain and through his childhood, through his exposure to everything ugly in man, war, discrimination, poverty, all of those levels of indignities, I think he understood what was important. And what was important is really the message we get through all our philosophies and religion, love and gentleness and tenderness, and to treat each other with respect, and had the courage to just live that way, to be 100% authentic in every aspect of his life.
When he played in group settings with Charlie Parker and others, he stood tall and told his story.
People loved hearing him play. They also loved watching him. Horn cocked to the side, pelvic thrust. He had great rhythm. He was great to look at. His playing kind of sounded like dancing.
We could dip into the nightclubs and dip into the dance halls and to go into the places like the Apollo Theater and forever be nourished by the power and the beauty of practitioners of jazz. One of the places we went to just knowing to joyous closing to the day was to flock down to the Royal Roost. For a 25-cent bottle of beer, we could sit and listen endlessly to the greatness of the jazz musicians. And I'll never forget, one day on a slow night, Lester used to sit in a booth with his horn by his side, and sometimes we would be at a table not too far away or up against the wall, and he'd invite us over and back to the seat, and we'd come sit. And the following conversation ensued. Lester, what do y'all do? Students, we study. Oh yeah? Where you go to school? We go to the New School of Social Research down here, theater. Oh yeah? And you study what? You study theater. You study theater. What do you study in theater? Well, there are many divisions. There's directing and playwriting. And what do you study specifically? Study acting. You study acting? Tell me, how you do that? And it was the first time anybody had ever asked me, how do you do that? One of the things I felt that would help me give greater clarity to what it was that we did was to say to the musicians, why don't you come see us? And at first it was like a fleeting act of casual offering, but they took us up on it. One night, I was sitting there bemoaning the fact that I had just been notified by the administrators that my subsidy had run out, because I was a GI, had the Bill of Rights supporting us to go get our education. I'd have to find another way, if I wanted to continue my studies, to find the tuition. Lester said, well, why don't you sing? I said, sing? I said, I'm not a singer. I said, I said, what? Yes, you are. We just saw the play, man. We don't do that. So I said, yeah, but I'm not. That was another challenge. That wasn't about this. I mean, this is the home of Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and Nat King Cole and Billy Eckstine. And
this was Lester Young saying that you could sing.
Encouraging me to get a job as a singer because he saw the play. And I just kind of thought the idea didn't really. I said, well, I don't know any song. We can fix that.
What Lester Young is doing, he's sounding relaxed. He would say cool.
That's cool.
Cool, Pres.
And he is the coiner of the term in its common meaning.
As I continue to listen to Bach, Beethoven, Louis Armstrong, and Roy Eldridge, if the music is great, it's timeless.
He influenced Monk, who had his own way of talking, but that was influenced by Pres Bird and Dexter Gordon. They wanted to say things you didn't quite understand that had double meanings, and you had to understand both meanings to understand what they were saying. And Pres was the real creator of that.
Lester says, yeah, have nice eyes for the way you play there. He says, if you're interested, the slave is yours.
He was super unique. He called everybody lady.
Lady Bass, you take the next helping, and then we'll follow the swallow back home.
Billy give you the name of Pres.
When I first came to New York in '34, she was teaching me about the city, you know, which way to go, you know. Yeah, she's still my lady today.
The greatest thing about musical expression is when you have this coming together of the deepest feelings with the absolute control and technique of one's playing.
The way I play, I try not to be a repeater pencil. You know, I'm always looking for some space, some line out to somewhere, something like that. I don't think you'll catch me like that, playing like Lester Leaps In or something like that. That's my crib, you know, but I'm always reaching.
Whenever he get a hold of a note that sound good, he just seems to just hang on to it. It just seemed like milking a cow. He just tried to get everything out of that one note, and he did. He was one of those people that time didn't matter.
I did go to his funeral, and Billie Holiday, she just came all to pieces, and she cried. We were all crying.
He wears high-draped pants, stripes are yellow. He wears high-draped pants, stripes are yellow. But when he starts in to love me, he is so fine and low.
Lester Young is an amalgam of, New Orleans. I mean, he's all these things. If he is a griot, he's an American griot, and he's reciting the tale of America because he's checking out everybody to make himself better. I mean, that's what I love about him. He's actually the embodiment of what the idea of America is actually supposed to be. And Sonny Rollins, too. I mean, just like, I love guys like that.
Every night, I'd be playing Three Little Words, and I'd be hearing stuff that came from Lester Young that I could expand on in my little expression. And that happened this is after that early period. So after the Count Basie early period. So to me, his thing was all the way, going that way up. It wasn't, up and then, no, it was up all the way. The trajectory was straight up.
It's got to be sweetness, man. Today. Sweetness can be funky, filthy, anything.
Yeah.
But which part do you want? The funky of the body or the sweet? Soft eyes for me.